All right, guys. It's time to discuss a bit. This will be a brief discussion. Get him back in like 30 seconds. Hey, guys. Here I am. Hello to everyone. Well, you've seen what happens now despite Dana wife rammed his wife hard. You've seen what's happening. Dana White. Hello, Niall. How are you doing? Dana White rammed his wife, and can you believe what's gonna happen? Dana White. Do you think Tank Davis can go decision? Yes, there is a chance. There is a solid chance that fight goes the distance, but I'd rather go via late stoppage if I must pick a side. What time is first boxing fight? Probably go main card only. So Mielnicki is fighting and Brandon Lee. They are fighting in the preliminary cards. But in my state, you can't watch it in my state. You can't watch it in my state. That's a problem because in my state you cannot watch prelims. You can only watch main card, which kind of sucks. But that's the way it is. There's nothing much I can change about that. Nothing much I can change. So in the first place, in the first place it used to be a nice piece of play, and okay, I mean main card has got 4 bouts. I mean Jaron Ennis should win that one. I believe Jaron Ennis should win that one. And also don't forget to laugh because High Show Speed is exposed. That scammer is exposed. I exposed the scammer. And in general, got to say I exposed that scammer, and you've seen what was he doing, and he is some kind of an internet celebrity. Can you believe it? But watch this video. Watch this video. You will roll out of laughing while you watch this video. I mean, what kind of a man you should be? And also, can you believe that Dana White slapped his wife, and no matter what he did, the promotion will still continue to grow, will still continue to air. The promotion will still continue to to exist. Can you believe it? What a paradox! What a paradox we have. We have a very great paradox heading into that one. We really have a very, very great paradox, and that's something pretty much annoys me, intensifies me, scares the shit out of me, and it leads to disrespect. But at the end of the day, I need to say that his wife slapped him first. So to some point I can understand that, but again, I'm against all kind of violence, but sometimes the man has to defend himself. Then I won that fight with a score of 10-8. It was like bang, then I bang, bang. Then his wife tried to fire back, and then I banged her one more time. So with a score of 10-8, Dana White won the combat against his wife. And I think his wife will never ever try to slap him again. Well, that's for sure. I'm sure that his wife will never ever try to slap that guy again. But it's funny. It's funny to some point because I wasn't expecting that on the end of Dana White. That's not something I was expecting on the end of Dana White. But at the end of the day, Dana White. And the thing that kind of surprised me is the fact that we were seeing a fighter fighting sick. We saw a fighter fighting sick, and Bryce Mitchell said that he was fighting under flu, but he he had to take part in a fight due to monetary purposes, due to the fact that he was having financial issues, and he had to accept the fight. He couldn't pull out in the last minute, and way to go for that if that's true. He didn't look good in the match against Ilia Topuria, but that's life, that's life. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and that guy earned my respect. If that's the truth, if he's not making the story up, then he earned my respect. Congrats, man. I mean, you need a huge level of bravery for that. You need a huge level of bravery to step inside the ring with with a flu. So whatever it happens, man, I will respect you until the last dying breath. I will respect that guy until the last dying breath, and that's something to believe in, really, for the majority of us. I do believe to some point that we should show respect to that guy, because that guy really made me believe that a real knight will never pull out of the combat, and the real knight will never pull out of the combat, and that's how things work in the first place. If you want to be a fighter, you can't pull out, you can't come up with coward excuses, and you can't simply ignore everything and climb on your fucking high horse and pretend like nothing happened, because something did happen. Something did happen, and fans are therefore gonna know that. Fans are going to appreciate people who want to fight until the last dying breath. So you've just earned another fan, man. If you fought under full, you just earned another fan. Therefore, earned another fan, and I must recommend Bryce Mitchell for every next fight, because I didn't know he was sick. I didn't know he was sick. I was just thinking that Ilia Topuria is a too tough matchup for him, and I was just thinking that Ilia Topuria might actually give him a hard time in that combat. But that's life. That's life. From time to time, we must do things that we ain't got used to. So maybe he really ain't got used to do those things. I mean, I would, if that's true, I'm going to read you the whole article. If that's true, I would really like to see that rematch, because then in that case, that's the rematch that makes sense. Bryce Mitchell is very happy with the UFC, but admits financial situation was a factor fighting at the UFC 282 with the flu. Bryce Mitchell says his financial situation led to him fighting Ilia Topuria despite having the flu. I was jacked up, Mitchell said. That wasn't me at my best. I had a lot of circumstances going on. People don't really see all the stuff that the fighter is contemplating before the fight, what the factors are, this and that. I just don't think I was at my best. Honestly, I had a couple $1,000 in my bank account, and they told me that if you don't take this fight, we're not finding you one until February. We're booked. So it's like you can leave off a couple $1,000 in your bank, or you can fight December 10th, and if not, fuck off until February. So I said, you know what? I don't want to leave off a couple $1,000 until February, and I would have made it. I would have scrapped by, and maybe I should have, but at the time, I thought I'd win the fight. I thought I was going in there with the full to kick somebody's ass anyway, and that just wasn't the case. I was not capable of kicking ass that night. Fighter pay, it has become an increasingly prevalent topic in the MMA space in recent years. Michel is not the only athlete to find fighting as a tough way to pay the bills, but even after what happened, Michel still says he has no complaints about the UFC's pay. I didn't have to fight, Michel said. I wasn't dying for the money. I could have made it. I would not have starved to death and all my bills would have been paid. But then I just kept thinking, what if they tell me a fight in February and it doesn't happen in February? There was uncertainty. I didn't know what was going to happen if I didn't take that fight. And in my head, I told myself I was going to win anyways. Here's the thing with my money, I invest it. I don't just waste it, I choose to invest it. I knew that I would only have a little bit left, and I was expecting that fight to come around. I was expecting to win money. So I don't know. I'm not really complaining about the financial side of it. But to say it wasn't a factor, that would be a lie. I'm not mad about my financial situation. I'm very happy, very blessed. But I was a little bit worried about not having money until February. And that's actually what happened. Dana versus Helvani Power Slap main event. Yeah, let's go. Hey, Admeti. Well, in the case you haven't noticed, Bryce Mitchell. I just need to continue reading this article. Then he added the money was not the only factor at play in his decision. Personality played a role as well. That was one factor making me to take it. Was the money, but it wasn't the only factor. I also didn't want to be a bitch. I wanted to show that I'm not a bitch and that I showed up and fought when I said that I would, even though I was hurting. I just wish I wasn't sick. The loss was the first of Michel's professional career, and while in the immediate aftermath of the fight he hinted at retirement, Michel says that he wasn't thinking clearly at the time. Instead, Michel plans to return to action this year, likely in the summer. I'm probably too anxious to get back in because I probably need to heal myself, Michel said. I probably took a lot of brain damage in that one. That stuff. I don't think it ever recovers, but a couple of months will definitely help. But I'm anxious to prove that I can do better. I'm not going to lie, I feel like I could do better right now. I'd love to prove it, but I'm going to wait until I run out of money again. Then I'm going to take another fight. But I'll be out of money. Should it will probably be by summer. Oh man, it will probably be by summer, yeah. Fighting is a tough way to pay your bills, man. Fighting is a tough way to pay your bills, and we've seen that in Bryce Mitchell's case. And in Bryce Mitchell's case, we've seen that he was a really fighter who didn't want to back down, and a fighter who chose to pursue his dreams and who chose to fight, who chose to fight for his life, who chose to fight to pay his bills and debts. And I'm really glad for it. I'm really glad because I've seen that guy showcasing one of the best performances of his career, and it really was the case. It really was the scenario there. It really was the case, the scenario, and it was one of the best moments, one really of the best moments I've seen, because it shows, it speaks about courage, it speaks about him, it speaks about his intentions. That's really, that's really the guy who is going to help us, who is going to help all of us understand and believe that everything is possible. You know what Yoel Romero says, like, when you believe, anything is possible. Well, when you believe anything is possible, I'm hinting back at that one. I'm really hinting back at that one, and looking back at that one, I do believe that when you believe, anything can come true. When you believe, anything can be possible. And me, I also believe that when you believe, anything can be possible, because I share pretty much the same story. I was pretty much in a downfall. I was at very hard moments of my life. I was having very hard moments of my life prior to choosing to pursue this kind of a dream, because I chose UFC as my life call, but prior to that, I was changing so many jobs. And even today, I know that my financial situation is always going to be rocky because of this job. I know this job is not bringing any good because it's so random. Sorry. It's so random shit, and on so many occasions, some other guys might overtake you, but if you're persistent enough, you'll never lose. You will never lose your faith if you're persistent enough, and that's what I believe in. I believe in persistence. I believe in courage. And I believe in the fact that every single time you fight, it has to pay back. It has to fire back. People are going to start following you. People are going to start following you if they see that you are truly passionate about what you're doing. And am I passionate? There is no doubt about it. I mean, who could ever say that I'm not passionate about my job? That guy simply doesn't know math, you know. And my passion is one of the greatest things that has ever happened in the history of this sport, because I'm extremely passionate about mixed martial arts. And I know sometimes that I'm even too emotional, that I'm even too passionate for this, but That's my life. That's my call. I know some people are gonna heavily disagree, but I would always, I would have never chosen another way because that's the only way I know. I know to do this. I know to do other jobs. But this is my call number one. Yeah, you must do other jobs to survive, and I support that. I support that all day long. You do other jobs if you have to, but this is always going to be my passion number one: MMA, mixed martial arts, the world of demolition magician, one-sided ass whoopings, swinging the hammers. I mean, people are going to say, "Yeah, Vlad, it's too violent. It's too violent way to earn money, etc." But Vlad is just going to say that he chose this for a reason. So I understand why the poor guy didn't back out of the fight. He didn't want to chicken out of the fight, and we should really support the guy. You know, he didn't chicken out of the fight, which is awesome, which is really really awesome. I mean, congrats, man, for not chickening out of the fight. It's really really excellent. It's really excellent performance, excellent piece of play, and you really showed that you have heart, man. You really showed that you have a lot of heart. So congrats on that. Congrats on that, man. I mean, Bryce Mitchell now has another fan. Now people are going to say, Vlad, why, etc. Well, because I want to show respect. I really want to show respect to that guy. Now, from now on, sorry, I'm sensitive to pollution. I'm a very big fan of Bryce Mitchell from now on. Bryce Mitchell, and he is an amazing guy. And I would never call somebody. I mean, I appreciate Guru, but when he called Chris Curtis a dog shit, well, I've never enjoyed. I've never enjoyed that. Not gonna lie to you, but it was funny. It was very, very funny, but I've never enjoyed that. So Dana versus Helvani Power Slap main event. That would be a main event to remember. Got to say, it would have been a main event to remember. Therefore, would have been a main event to remember. And Vlad is going to prepare for this boxing as this weekend I don't have many things to work on. I don't have sparring sessions as it's Christmas today. Christmas Eve was yesterday, so I had to sleep. I didn't have much of a time, so that's how everything played out. That's how everything went, and I will try to stream at least half an hour or 1 hour per day. Sometimes I don't have time, and I expect you will be able to understand that. That sometimes I really don't have time, but on some point, I'm extremely busy. On another point, I don't want to surrender. I don't want to back down. I don't want to show. I don't want to show weaknesses, and I believe it would have been showing weaknesses if I choose not to stream, if I choose to retire, if I choose to stay away from the greatest sport in the world. It would have been a sign of weakness. And in many cases, many people they have studios, they have rooms, but I'm living from paycheck to paycheck. I would gladly invest more money. I mean, don't get this wrong, but I would gladly invest more money into this. But the fact is, I'm unable to do so. So at the moment, I need to pay my bills. I need to pay for my car and all those expenses. I'm not like a rich boy like the MMA guru. So at the moment, I will continue pushing my story, but everything depends on you, you know. Everything, all my support, etc. I'm doing other jobs, but my support, my survival on YouTube depends on you, my lovely lads. It all depends on you. It all depends on the fact whether you are going to support me or not going to support me. And I continue to push hard. I continue to create content. I continue to battle as hard as I can because that's the only language I have ever spoken. That's the only thing I know. By the way, I see now how hypocrisy rules, and that bothers me. I'm not going to lie. Not going to lie to you. That bothers me. I don't like hypocrisy, and in the Western world, it's pretty much the fact that hypocrisy is taking over and hypocrites are taking over. like Dana White, I was thinking that it was an agreement between him and his wife, but it wasn't. It simply wasn't the agreement between him and his wife. I mean, they were drunk, they were both drunk, and they made a stupidity. So maybe it was just a part of the bad agreement. Maybe they didn't have an intention to do so, but that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. So Vlad will go now, and Vlad will try to get back to boxing. Vlad needs to sleep right now. I'm gonna get back to boxing very much soon. That's gonna be at 9:30 p.m. I will see. I hope everything is going to work because they announced that everything is going to host on local TV station. So I hope everything is going to host. I really hope they are not lying and that everything is really going to host. Have a great day, everyone, and catch you later.